This is Scott Spears, and today we are remembering a television icon, Sherman Hemsley, who passed away at age 74. Sherman kept us entertained for years as George on the Jeffersons, as well as many other movie and television roles. Joining us to remember this great actor is his longtime friend and co-star from the Jeffersons, Marla Gibbs. Marla, how are you?
I'm fine.
Marla, how did you hear of Sherman's passing?
Well, actually, one of my co-stars from 227 called me. Jack A. called me to tell me she heard it and she wanted to know if it was true. So my assistant turned on the TV and Googled Sherman, and it came up that he had indeed made his transition.
Was it shocking, Marla? Because
it was very shocking, because every once in a while I pick up the phone and call Sherman just to see how he's doing, and we have a little talk. And of course we did a couple of things together not too long ago, and we were still looking for something to do together again, but nothing had come up.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
I'd say about a couple of months ago, but he was not ill, so I am really shocked.
Yeah, it hasn't been released what he passed of. Do we know what he passed?
Well, they said natural causes.
Natural causes. But had not been ill at all, to your knowledge?
To my knowledge, no. But then, Sherman is a very private person, so if he wasn't feeling well, I doubt if he would have said so.
You know, Marla, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I mean, he had no children, and he was never married. What was his life like? What was he like as a person?
Sherman used to be an introvert and an extrovert when he performed, but lately he had become more of an extrovert. He started traveling alone, which he didn't do years ago. He started traveling alone, and he was just always very upbeat. He would do the walk for anybody asked. We went on a tour for Medicare, and we visited a lot of senior citizens' places, and they would always ask him to do the walk, and he would get up and do the walk without any hesitation. And we did several interviews, TV and radio, and generally we would have to shield him, and we would talk a lot, but he started piping up and talking. I said, oh, well, it's a new day.
You know, Marla, I guess...
But I loved him. He was very generous.
Well, you know, I guess it's all... well, in what ways was he generous?
Well, you have to be generous to set up somebody to slam you, so he happily set me up so that I could slam him on the Jeffersons. If he didn't set me up, I couldn't hit him.
And you did so well.
And so I set him up, he set me up, and we worked very well together. I always enjoyed working with him.
You know, Marla, the last 10 years or so, I mean, we see you quite a bit, thankfully, in guest roles. We hadn't seen a whole lot of Sherman. What had he been up to?
Well, as far as I know, he had been doing plays around the country. I talked with his manager, and they would... The little plays that you see going on tour that are never really televised a lot. He would do those, and I think they paid him pretty well.
Was he enjoying his life?
He was.
That's great to hear. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Sherman really had an affinity for music.
Oh, yes, he loved music. As a matter of fact, he would send me some of his music to play, and I enjoyed it.
And he was also a good cook, from what I hear.
I can attest to that. I never tasted anything he cooked. And I don't know if I would have been up for tasting anything he cooked.
Marla, how did you meet Sherman?
I I met him when I started working for the Jeffersons. We didn't know each other before then because he probably had been a New York actor and he was out of Philly. I was out of Chicago and Detroit, and so there was no way we could have met unless we did something together here in L.A.
What was your first impression of him?
My first impression was, gee, is that all he's going to do? But when those cameras turned on, he became a whole nother person. I said, oh, okay. That's what you're going to do, huh? Okay.
You know, Marla, I think he's kind of underrated. How good of an actor was he?
He was excellent.
Yeah. He was great
to watch. When he decided to do something, he was on. I mean, the whole time he was at Jefferson, he would think of things to do. He would come in and say, Marla, I was laying in the bed and I was thinking about how you always doing this, and I was thinking I did this. I said, well, let's do it. So we go to the director and said, Sherman was thinking of this. Want to try it? I said, well, let's try it. So it was his idea for me to, you see a montage where he chokes me and throws me in the bathroom. That was all his idea.
Out of all those moments, do you have a favorite moment?
There's so many. The show I had the most fun with was where I played Aunt Jemima. He wanted me to play the proper maid. And then we would go to the door, and he said, I'm an executive. I have better things to do. I said, well, here, take out the garbage. And on the spur of the moment, he said, okay, hop in. And I would get so tickled. He'd just do things like that would come up, and they were always funny.
You know, Marla, with Franklin gone and Isabel gone and Roxy.
I know.
How
Ned
hard
is
is
still
this?
here. I talk to Ned all the time, and sometimes we have dinner maybe twice a year.
How hard is this for you personally? Because you were more than co-workers.
Oh, it's very hard because all the people we work with, it was just like family. And I would keep up with Franklin's wife since he passed. And when Franklin was ailing after he had his heart transplant, when he got to feeling better, I decided to have a brunch for him. And we did that at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And so we put the rest of the cast members together along with our wardrobe person. And we went out and we had the brunch together, and he was so happy. Franklin was a very funny man. He didn't get the opportunity, people didn't get the opportunity to see how funny he was.
This just came in. I want to make sure I mention this. This is from Sally Struthers, who played Gloria on All in the Family.
Yes.
This is in regard to Sherman's passing. I loved him a lot. He was one of the good guys. Gone too soon. And that's from Sally Struthers. Certainly, I think we all echo that. Marla, in 2000, a lot of press was made that Sherman had gone bankrupt, and it kind of followed him the rest of his life, sadly. How hard was that, and were the rumors true about it? Because it was always in there. I know he denied it at some points.
I have no idea, honey.
Really?
But it's not a big thing, because a lot of us are going bankrupt.
Yeah. How is life today for you, Marla?
I'm still above ground, so life is fine. I'm still 30, and I'm still above ground, and I'm still looking forward to working.
And I hear you're going to be, and we'll do an interview on this hopefully sometime, I hear you're going to be reuniting with Jack A.
Oh, yes. Jack A and I just finished a play together.
Oh, great.
That went over well. That was 2 weeks ago. And we also did a pilot together for TV, which has not come out yet.
Well, you just keep on working, Marla. How are we going to remember Sherman Hemsley?
As a very talented, funny man, talented actor, good friend, and great coworker.
Absolutely. Marla Gibbs, one of the legendary stars of television, remembering her friend Sherman Hemsley. And I do want to mention this. On the night that Isabel Sanford passed, I had Marla and Sherman on. I'm sure Marla won't remember that. That's been a while ago. But that was a lot of fun that night, remembering Isabel. And it's hard to believe he's gone. He's just one of those people. I think that, he wasn't ill. And was there any illness in his life at all, Marla?
Not that I know of.
Yeah, it's very shocking today to hear this, and we're going to miss him. And, as of course, I always say when I interview Marla, you're one of the great ladies. Always accepts my phone calls, and I love that. Marla, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
My condolences.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.